Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about tips for dealing with art block, or at least the things I try to do with art block. Now with this I have kind of two categories. I have one category of things that has to do with drawing and another category that kind of puts it on the back burner because I understand sometimes you just can't draw. I've seen a lot of videos where people are just like, just draw something, draw anything, it's fine. And there are honestly some days where you just can't do it. And I completely understand that. And I don't think it's a bad thing to deal with art block with not drawing something. That being said, just in the background here, I'm going to be doing one of the tips that I have for you guys today. So let's start off with that. My very first tip on the drawing side to deal with art block is figure drawing and drawing from life. When you're drawing realistic things that come from the real world and you're using references or you're using things in front of you, doing those things definitely increases your drawing vocabulary as far as shapes and being confident with your lines, especially when you're figure drawing, because to start you want to be really loose and then gradually get more detailed. I know a lot of times when I have art block and I'm trying to draw, one of the biggest problems is that I'm trying to draw something very specific and it's just not coming out the way that I picture it in my head. So if I have references in front of me or I have a person standing there in front of me, I don't have to really think about what it would look like because it's right there. And this is something that doesn't have to take a long time. Like with figure drawing, you can do, 20-second gestures. You can do 5-minute gestures if you want. So it's really up to you how long you want to take on these. And having that kind of control can really help with art block as well. My second tip for you is go ahead and draw some fan art if you want. I know a lot of people have this weird stigma against fan art because, it's not their own creation, but fan art is fun, and if it's something you enjoy, more than likely you're gonna enjoy drawing it. And that's kind of one of the biggest issues with art block, is that we stop enjoying it because we're frustrated or because it's not looking right. Well, if you're drawing fan art, if you're drawing, like I love drawing Pokemon. You've probably seen a few videos on my channel of me drawing Poke Fusions. That's one of the things I do to get out of art block. And you don't have to post it anywhere if that's one of the things that you're worried about, of other people, I don't know, knowing that you're drawing fan art or something. Just keep it in your sketchbook. Just draw SpongeBob, draw Sailor Moon, draw Steven Universe. Just do what feels good. My third tip for you is using prompts. So I'm sure you've probably heard of Inktober or Mermay, but these are very common online prompt-based things for artists to do to be creative. So in Inktober, that's during the whole month of October, Jake Parker made this prompt for every single day. There's a different word or phrase for you to go off of to draw. And that's a really fun and easy way to kind of just lay back and be creative without having to come up with, what the heck am I gonna draw? So you get the word mouse. Okay, so I got a mouse. You could just simply draw a mouse. You could do a study, or you could do a little mouse warrior, or you could do a Tom and Jerry reimagination where you draw them in your style. So using these prompts really just kind of alleviates you from going from 0 to 100. Because I know that's a lot of pressure when I have art block, is what am I going to draw? I want to draw something good and I don't know where to start and I can't do it now. And so if you have a prompt, it kind of just gives you a little boost. My third tip for you guys is doing a redraw. Find old art of yours that you used to be really proud of, or maybe something that you weren't proud of, and redraw it now. I suggest doing something from at least a year ago. That way you will see progress if you are a constant artist. And by constant artist, I don't mean draw every single day. I just mean this is a hobby of yours that you enjoy doing more than like once a month. Whenever I'm feeling down about where my art is and I don't think that I'm as good enough as I should be, and I do a redraw, I feel so much better, because Whether or not you see it, if you're practicing, you are getting better. Trust me. I actually have 2 videos of myself doing this, redrawing old drawings, and it feels so good to look back at the old one versus the new one that you made and be like, look at that dang progress. My anatomy got better, my colors got better, my line work got better, because you are growing as an artist, whether or not you realize it. And I know that's definitely something that we tend to forget when we have art block. And my last tip for the drawing section is trying out a new or different medium that you're used to. Personally, for the majority of my art life, I have drawn digitally. And while there were many times that I did traditional work, mostly because I went to art school and you had to, I was kind of set on being a digital artist. And there came a point where it just wasn't really feeling right anymore. And so I grabbed a sketchbook and I grabbed my alcohol markers that I hadn't touched in a really long time, and I just tried it out. And experiencing a new medium and just trying things out, experimenting what works, what doesn't, can really kick off some inspiration for something that you might not have done with your comfort zone medium. And it doesn't have to be a huge leap. Like if you're used to using watercolor, maybe try out gouache. They're very similar, but they have differences and benefits either way. If you do want to make the jump and you do watercolor, freaking go for pastels, go for charcoal. If you've ever tried charcoal, that stuff is so much fun. You get so dirty, and I'm just fangirling about charcoal. This isn't even about art tips anymore. I love charcoal. Welcome to the charcoal channel. We've evolved. Just charcoal. But in all seriousness, trying out a new medium is a really fun way of just experimenting. You don't even have to know what exactly you're drawing. Just swatching things out can sometimes just be a fun exercise to get your juices flowing. Alright, now moving to the second category of tips. These are tips for those days that you just can't draw, and it's alright. Breathe, it's fine, we'll come back to it. Why don't you take a walk or just experience nature in general? I say that in like a very broad sense, as in the smallest thing you could do is just go take a walk or sit in your backyard. But you could also, on the other hand, like take a vacation to somewhere that kind of disconnects you from the grid. I know that social media and internet in general can have a very strong hold on us, and that gets draining after a while. Let's be real. There are some days where I wish I could just throw it all out the window and never touch it again. But for a lot of us, that's pretty unrealistic, since the internet is kind of a need at this point, especially as an artist who gets all of their work via the internet. And I highly suggest taking your sketchbook and a pencil or colored pencils, whatever, with you, just in case, you get out there, you do start feeling better, and, you see a cute bird or you see a nice tree, then you're just like, I'm gonna draw that tree. My next tip is to clean your workspace. I know I have a really hard time concentrating or just feeling good in general when I'm in a very cluttered or messy workspace. And one of the ways that I deal with anxiety that usually goes hand in hand when I have art block is cleaning in general. So organizing all of my art supplies, going through and cleaning out my bookshelf and cleaning off my desk feels really good. And then when you sit back down, it kind of feels like you just took a nice deep breath. Small little side tip, if you've never heard of Marie Kondo, she is organizer specialist, and go look her up either just on the internet. She has a Netflix show now. I watched that a few weeks ago, and it really helped me figure out how to get my stuff in order. My next tip for you guys is to, instead of trying to draw, maybe write down your ideas in great detail. So that way when you do have the energy and motivation to draw, you can go back to your ideas and remember exactly, oh right, I had that idea about the guy in the woods with the axe, and that way you don't forget things when you are ready to draw. And if your art block ends up lasting a while, but you write down a few things, you now kind of have a small creative almanac that you can go back to if you feel like drawing but don't have a subject in mind. This next tip is kind of a combination of the first group and the second group of tips, and that's to get involved with an art community, whether that's online, on a Facebook group, on DeviantArt, on Tumblr, or if, you have a figure drawing free class down at, the rec center in the city, something like that, just to get you either talking with other artists so you can, bounce ideas off each other, or just to experience and know that other people are probably dealing with the exact same that you are, either currently or have dealt with it in the past, and can probably also give you some tips to help you. And my very last tip, which might not be a very popular tip, is to take a break. Do not beat yourself up because you couldn't draw for a day or two, or hey, even 4 days. If that's how you're feeling and you can't draw, and it's better for your mental health to figure out what's causing that. Take time off. It's okay. Unless you have a commission that's due or an assignment that's due, no art police is going to be coming knocking on your door, taking away your art card. You haven't sketched anything in 2 weeks. No one's going to do that. It's going to be fine. Just take a deep breath, know that this will pass, and you'll be drawing again before you know it. Well, I hope these tips were helpful for you guys. If you have any tips of your own that you'd like to share with people, please leave them down in the comments. I would love to see them. And just one quick reminder is that all artists deal with art block. You're not alone. You're not weird because you can't draw, and it doesn't make you any less of an artist. So just keep trying, keep your chin up, and everything will eventually turn out fine, and you'll be drawing again before you know it. Thanks so much again for checking out this video. If you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure to subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos if you'd like to see how I do a completely finished piece when I don't have art block. Hope you guys have a good day, and thanks for stopping by.